Okay. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming tonight, and I'm sure we'll have more people joining shortly. It seems to be as the readings start, we have people come in, rushing in from work and that. This we have our interfaith prayer and discussion for the purpose of promoting the unity of humanity and cooperation. And we read this in honor of Mr. Siva Perry, who started the group and who really was motivated by this reading. Whether through deeds or words, the merit of your every contribution to social well-being lies first in your resolute commitment to discover that precious point of unity where contrasting perspectives overlap and around which contending people can coalesce. So that's the spiritual root of our gathering, but there's respect towards all faiths and people of faith, and an acknowledgement that we need faith to live well and to be able to cooperate well. So people, as much as possible, have their face displayed, and there's an attitude of respect and be muted if you're not speaking. So we've come here to learn, and we're always very grateful that for more things to learn and another perspective that we can help us cooperate more, and also for our own faith. So without any more, please, Amma, could you do the acknowledgement of country, please?
Sure. We live in a very nice country, Australia, and in the last, 50 years, there has been a change where multiculturalism is accepted, and the native people of this country have been accepted. So I'm hoping that this will continue and it will spread all over the world, that we all human beings from all different races and countries, and we can live together happily. Now, I'd like to acknowledge and honor the indigenous land and people. There is widespread acknowledgement that the present-day structures of society are prepared to address the needs of humanity in its current travels. Much that was widely assumed to be certain and unshakable is being questioned, and the resulting phenomenon is producing a longing for unifying vision. The chorus of voices raised in support of oneness, equality, and justice show how many share these aspirations for those societies. And this was the message from Universal House of Justice in 2023. We acknowledge as a group in the interfaith and pay respect to the past, present, and future traditional custodians and elders of this nation we call Australia. The contribution of cultural, spiritual, and educational practices of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tribes were the first sovereign nations of the Australian continent. The Gadigal of the Eora Nation are the custodians of this place we now call Sydney, and Gadigal people are traditional owners of Bearwood, where Siva and Masanta, Siva used to, and Masanta lives, and I live in Koringai, Gordon, in Koringai Nations land. So I'll open the interfaith meeting with this acknowledgement.
We can't hear it.
Sorry, I'll sort out what's happening.
You have to share with the sound if you have that.
There is peace. You can taste it if you try. Can embrace it if you try. There is love. You can live it if you try. You can give it if you try. People walk this earth, people rush around, but there is no rest till their hearts bow down. There is a dream, you can reach it if you try. You can make it if you try. There is a God. You can know Him if you try. You can approach Him if you try. There are angels. They are with you day and night. You can know them if you try. I have searched this world, I have seen the signs, but I will not rest till I pass the line. There is heaven, you can know it if you try. You can go there if you try. And if God wills, it will be.
Margaret, you can read now, please. Never may brother hate brother, or sister hurt sister. United in heart and in purpose,
commune sweetly together. I will utter a prayer for such concord among family members as binds together the gods, among whom there is no hatred. I bind you together. Assemble for worship of the Lord like spokes around a hub.
In the name of God, I praise and invoke the Creator, Ahura Mazda, the radiant, glorious, omniscient, Maker, the Lord of Lords, King over all kings, watchful, Creator of universe, giver of daily bread, powerful, strong, eternal, forgiver, merciful, loving, mighty, wise, holy, and nourisher. May his just kingdom be imperishable. Zoroastrian writings.
Just as with her own life a mother shields from hurt her only child, let all-embracing thoughts for all that live be thine, and all-embracing love for all the universe, in all its heights and depths and breadth, unstinted love, unmarred by hate within, not rousing enmity. Buddhist writings. Titi, you're muted.
Are you able to read it, Titi? Or are you frozen? Robert, would you mind? Oh, you, okay. Are you reading it, Titi?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness become a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for the forest. Then justice shall dwell in the wilderness, and the righteousness shall abide in the fruitful field, and the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quietness and confidence forever. Jewish writing.
Bless them which persecute you, and bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one towards another. If it is possible, as much as lieth in you, live peacefully with all men.
Moreover, to Moses gave we the book, and we raised up apostles after him, and to Jesus, son of Mary, gave we clear proofs of his mission, and strengthened him by the Holy Spirit. So oft then as an apostle cometh to you with that which your souls desire not, swear they with pride, and treat some as impostors, and slay others. Islamic writings.
Consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. Of old it hath been revealed, love of one's country is an element of the faith of God. The tongue of grandeur hath, however, in the day of his manifestation, proclaimed, it is not his to boast who loveth his country, but it is his who loveth the world, by high writings.
Everything is beautiful in its own way, like a starry summer night or a snow-covered winter's day. And everybody's beautiful in their own way. Under God's heaven, world's gonna find a way. There is none so blind as he who will not see. We must not close our minds, we must let our thoughts be free. For every hour that passes by, you know the world gets a little bit older. It's time to realize that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Everything is beautiful in its own way, like a starry summer night or a snow-covered winter's day. Sing it, children. Everybody's beautiful, oh, in their own way. Under God's heaven, the world's gonna find a way. We shouldn't care about the length of his hair or the color of his skin. Don't worry about what shows from without, but the love that lives within. Are we gonna get it all together now? Everything gonna work out fine. Just take a little time to look on the good side, my friend, and straighten it out in your mind. And everything is beautiful in its own way, like a starry summer night or a snow-covered winter's day. I sing it, children. Everybody's beautiful, love in their own way. Under God's heaven, the world's gonna find a way. One more time. Everything is beautiful, its own way, like the starry summer night.
Thank you, Colin, for just putting it together and sharing it tonight. And thank you, everyone, for reading and your participation. So tonight we have the pleasure of hearing from Margaret Parker on the topic, the Tree of Life. Now, I'm going to read out Margaret's little bit of her background story, because it's so an interesting life that Margaret's had. So she's been studying and practicing meditation with the Brahma Kumaris since 1998. But she was born in Ireland and raised in the Catholic faith. And she moved to England to become a nurse and midwife before settling in Australia. It was here that her interest in interfaith began. She joined the Nurses Christian Fellowship, which was a Protestant group. And I'm sure in those days, Catholics and Protestants didn't interact as much as they do nowadays. After her arrival in Australia, Margaret spent some time as a lay missionary volunteer in Bougainville, Papua New Guinea. She met and married Greg Parker, and they have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Her introduction to Raja Yoga meditation was when she attended a retreat in 1998. This knowledge resonated deeply with her, and she has since devoted her time to service in this spiritual group. This included Fig Tree class location, the Bulai class, and the Centre for Spiritual Learning in Illawarra. Currently, she spends time at Inner Space 5 Dock, where she supports the souls who do service there. So thank you, Margaret, for joining us tonight, and we look forward to hearing about the Tree of Life. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your invitation. It's an honor to join the group. And when I was listening to the different readings, it reminded me of one time the Illawarra Interfaith group. We visited all each other's centers, and we went to the Baha'i Center. And of course, they do the same thing there. They read readings from different scriptures, which is really lovely because, again, it's all about oneness. So, as you say, I grew up in the 40s in Ireland, and in those days, people had a policy of not mixing with other faiths. We were aware of them, and we were discouraged from having anything to do with them. So I went to England in the early 60s to do my nursing training, and for the first time in my life, I found myself in a minority, as most of my colleagues were Protestant. And one of the interesting things, because Irish people are generally fairly soft-spoken, and when I went to Essex in England, the accent there was very harsh, and it used to hurt my ears. So that was something I needed to get used to, but I did. But it provided me with my first opportunity to mix with people of other faiths, mainly Christian Protestants. And the first lesson I learned was how to pray, because in Catholicism we tend to say structured prayers, but I learned how to talk to God. And I remember a little verse that someone told me, which is, I know I often say my prayers, but do I ever pray? And do the feelings of my heart go with the words I say? And that resonated with me. We had a Nurses Christian Fellowship, which I joined, and the main focus seemed to be anti-Catholic. I migrated to Australia in 1968, and a year later I worked in Papua New Guinea as a lay missionary volunteer with the Catholic Church, where I met a Uniting Church minister. He was in the station next to ours, and we used to go up and do nursing work in that area. And so I met him, and he was very friendly and made me feel welcome. And I think that was my first experience of interfaith in practice. After Papua New Guinea, I returned to Ireland, and I actually worked in an international missionary training hospital, a Catholic organization, which trained missionaries for overseas service, mainly in Africa, because a lot of the service from Ireland was in Africa. And so that was interesting. But then I went to England, mainly because I wanted to save up the money to come back to Australia, because I decided then that Australia was the place where I was to spend the rest of my life. And there was an ecumenical movement there. And I remember one of the nurses, one of my colleagues, spoke at one of these gatherings. And she was Protestant. And of course, they were very worried that the ecumenical movement would mean that the Catholics would overtake all the other Christian faiths. And she spoke about we should have unity, not uniformity. And again, that's something that resonates with the tree, which I'll come to soon. So in 1998, I started meditating with the Brahma Kumaris, And it was here that really my interfaith work started. I was living in Wollongong and was a founding member of IWIN, the Illawarra Women's Interfaith Network. And of course, I love that that means I win. So it's nice. One of our most enthusiastic members was a young Chinese student who was atheist. And I loved that she knew she belonged to the group because, again, it's a belief system that there is no God. So it fits in. It's all there. It's all on the tree. So let us look at a physical tree. A physical tree is natural. It is a symbol of generosity. It is always giving. It gives shelter from the sun. It provides a place for birds to build their homes. It provides an abundance of fruit for the welfare of all creatures. Each fruit provides seeds for another tree to grow, and the cycle of life of the tree continues. It starts as a seed and constantly divides through its lifetime. One trunk divides into two, and each of these continues to divide until there are tiny twigs. This is normal and natural. It is also known as the lungs of the earth because it absorbs carbon dioxide and emits oxygen. Now to the tree of life, and I can see the picture of the tree is there. In Raja Yoga meditation, which the Brahma Kumaris teach, we use a picture of the tree of life, which is also known as the tree of humanity. We start with the understanding that we are souls, acting our parts in the drama of life through our bodies. If I see someone doing something I don't like, I can see them as an actor and admire their acting skills rather than getting upset. Not always easy to do, but we can try. And another concept, one of the things that I've often noticed is that the best actors seem to play the baddies. So that's an interesting thing. But another concept that I had certainly growing up as a child was, if you feel anger coming on, count to 10. So do we do it or do we not? And another analogy that we use is we can see ourselves as the driver of the vehicle, which is the body. And of course, Raja Yoga has a picture of a car, and the car, the headlamps are the eyes, and the side mirrors are the ears, and the bonnet of the car is the nose. So it's a lovely picture. It's a very, very old car, like I think probably from the 60s, like a Holden or something like that, with a long bonnet, which we don't have anymore now. So another analogy we can use is that I am a self-sovereign, having mastery over the self, having mastery over my mind. I can actually choose the thoughts I want to have. I don't just react to things, but I sit back and respond. Another analogy is that I am a guest in the home of the body. And one of the things about a guest is because they know they're a guest, they're usually polite and cooperative because it's not their, they don't own anything there, which is a nice concept. And the soul starts off in the cycle of life as pure and powerful. And gradually, as we take more births, we become weaker. And then we stop using our own powers, but we start depending on others for things. And in fact, I think that's the concept that people often have when they want to form a relationship. They look for what they need in the other person instead of thinking, I've got everything I need. And what do we need really? There are three things that we say we need. We need peace in the world. We need love in our relationships, and we need happiness. But in fact, all of these things are qualities of the soul that we actually have. And we can access these through meditation by turning our mind inwards and connecting with the self, which is the soul. So another concept in Raja Yoga is that life is not linear, but cyclic, and the soul takes many births throughout the cycle. The souls that come at the beginning of the cycle are in the trunk of the tree. And this is a time of unity and harmony, of peace, prosperity, and kindness. But interestingly enough, because of the uniqueness of each soul, the tree of humanity begins to divide as souls start to express their individual ideas and opinions. At first, there was worship of one God. There was one religion and one way of life. And then the founders of the different religions took birth in their own time, and the branches continued to divide and become smaller, although the numbers in each religion grew. And what I really like about this is, as with the tree, the physical tree, this is normal and natural. So it's not something to worry about. And in fact, I think sometimes in life, people think, oh, they think differently to me, therefore they're wrong. And I think I would be crazy to think that what I believed in wasn't right. But just because someone believes something different, it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means they have a different perspective. And the example of that is when you see the figure 9 or 6 drawn on the floor, and one person is standing at one end and another person is standing at the other end. And one person sees it as a 6 and the other person sees it as a 9. But from each perspective, they are both right. So I like that idea. So at the moment, we are now at the end of the cycle, and the world has experienced a time of great upheaval and conflict with wars in so many areas. And I don't need to explain anything more about that. We just see it every day in the news. We hear about conflict in so many areas of the world. And again, a lot of the reason for that is that people think, I am right and they are wrong. And sometimes it can even go to the extent, therefore, I have a right to kill them, which of course is not true at all. And the more we can get away from that way of looking at things, then we have a chance of bringing about peace in the world. So at the same time that all this is happening, there are souls who are inspired to bring about change and bring transformation and peace into this field of conflict. The interfaith movement is playing a wonderful role in this transformation. Many groups are having dialogue with each other in an effort to understand each other and learn from each other. I once heard a young Muslim woman speak at an interfaith gathering, and she said that what we need to do is celebrate our similarities and accept our differences. I love that. The tree of life is only one. There is only one tree. There is only one race, the human race. We are all brothers and sisters, children of one God. Let us continue to celebrate and accept so that we can bring about world transformation through self-transformation. So that's all I've got to give you for now. So I hope that gives some thoughts for exploring that concept. But what I really love is that one tree, we're all part of that tree.
Thank you, Margaret. So,
Margaret, to explain this different.
A little bit about the tree. So what we see, and of course, this is from the Brahma Kumaris perspective. So we can see the Brahma Kumaris, the founder of the Brahma Kumaris, is in the roots of the tree. And then we have what we call the Golden Age, which is that time of peace and prosperity. And then we have the Silver Age. And again, because souls take rebirth, they gradually they start to lose a little bit of their power and their purity. And then we go into the Copper Age, and it's in the Copper Age that the different religions start coming. So on the left-hand side of the picture, we've got the Western religions, and on the eastern side, on the right side, we've got the Eastern religions. And of course, because we talk about the cycle as well as the tree, we can see that the founder of the Brahma Kumaris is at the top of the tree as well, because it's our understanding that what we are doing now is we are learning how to firstly become angels. And we had the mention of angels in some of the readings, because each one of us is an angel at heart. Each one of us is virtuous. And what helps us to identify that is just being aware of it and reflecting on it. And it's something that I really love about the Brahma Kumaris, is that I'm mixing with people whose aim in life is to become virtuous. And to me, that's such a special thing when there's so much competition in life. Whereas in our organization, our aim is to be loving and cooperative. And I think that's such a blessing. It's a blessing for each one of us. It's a blessing for the one who's trying to do it. And it's a blessing for those around them who can feel that vibration of love and cooperation. And right at the top of the tree, we've got an area of golden red light. And this is our understanding of the soul world, where souls come from. And it's a place of peace and silence. And actually, it's interesting because in the Christian faith, one of the things they pray for, especially at funerals, is that the soul may rest in peace. And in fact, this is our understanding, that it's this area where souls rest in peace. And that is their concept of heaven. Whereas there is also a concept of heaven on earth, which is what we would regard as the Golden Age. And in Christian terms, there's a concept of the millennium of peace that's going to come. So it's all there. It's all in the tree. And we, each one of us, is in that tree. Every religious tradition that we had prayers from at the beginning of this session, they're all on that tree. And it's such a lovely, it really makes me feel very, very happy and passionate about the tree, that it's such a beautiful thing. It starts as a seed. And in fact, in Raja Yoga, God is the seed of the tree. And it is he who brings about this new age of peace and prosperity.
Mm. So that's very interesting. Mm. Oh, gee, Ahmed's already got his hand up. So, before I go to Ahmed, I just wanted to acknowledge that Gowrie is here again this week. She gave the talk last week, and really appreciate you coming back to participate more this week.
Lovely. Oh, that's nice. Yes, I thought I've got the link now, but unfortunately, I do service. I do reception on a Thursday evening. So,
okay.
But who knows? Because the body might be approaching retirement age. So who knows what will happen in the future?
None of us know.
That's true.
We just do our best every day.
That's right. Yes.
But anyway, so we at this point, we have questions and discussions. So Ahmed managed to get his hand up first and then Jung, but please, we just see where we go. We can go all over the place.
Okay.
Ahmed?
Yeah, thanks, Margaret, for that talk. It was very nice. That concept of tree is very interesting. Actually, the Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, also describes the coming of these manifestations as a lut tree, this ancient lut tree, that he says that they're all branches of this ancient lut tree, which is faith of God. So this concept is in all religions. Yeah, it's very
That's a lovely thought. And again, because we are all part of the tree, it's to be understood that we will have that knowledge of the tree because it's who we are.
And the other interesting thing in there is this concept of that eventually the humanity will come together and would have a glorious millennium of peace. So this concept again is in many of the religions when you look at it. And Baha'u'llah says that eventually humanity will come together, will achieve peace together, and would develop a advancing civilization.
It's an interesting thing because when I was at the last Interfaith Prayer service, which is held on the International Day of Peace, the 21st of September, we used to say, we used to give a little prayer at the end of each reading. And we used to say, let peace be in our hearts, our minds, our universe. And this time what we actually said was, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. So that's such, because that again we can only have peace on earth if each one of us is committed to being peaceful in our lives.
Exactly. We need individual transformation.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just before you and Gary has to leave soon, I just wondered if you wanted to say anything before she...
It's such a beautiful group, and I really enjoy all of you, and especially the Brahma Kumaris talk about all the same, and the world to be peaceful, we need to have peace within us. So really enjoyed it. Thank you, Margaret, and thank you all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us again.
Unfortunately, I have to go, so I'll join next time. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Jung.
Good evening. How are you, everyone? Sorry I wasn't able to attend the meeting last week because we had most of the day at the Parliament House, and we had few important talk. Today, I'm very lucky to attend your lecture about the tree of life and dealing with human race. When we see the movement of somebody move from one spiritual realm to another one and go from here to there to different places, what is the meaning of oneness? Because oneness is oneness. How are we going to support other souls doing volunteer work when our cell is from moving in one place to the other place to search for spiritual and taught, like enlightenment. So therefore, it's a bit hard for me to understand. And talk about the tree of life, dealing with human race. I thought animals play a very important role in trees of life, just like the birds. They sing celestial songs. They praise the Lord and everything beautiful. And when I look at the trees, heaven is only, as we say it, is up the top at the orange level, when in real life, heaven is everywhere. If you understand about spiritual enlightenment, mean heaven is everywhere, right? You can stay under the tree and looking for heaven like Buddha. So when people rebirth, actually, they gain more power. They gain more power, not less power. And the souls rest in peace for a little while, but the holy souls, they have to go back to us in reincarnation to help other people. You know, like Bodhisattva. I'm not in Buddha teaching, but I'm a Catholic. But that's how I believe people come back on earth just to help other people, just like little Buddha. So when we look at a tree, in my mind, it related me to the desert. When we have dryness, we have heat, we have no water, no food. So actually in real life, you can see the opposite of the tree of life. And people do suffer if they were born somewhere near the desert. That's why we had migration. So all of this come into the fact that we have to involve science in it. I can see the tree of life, has the moon and the sun, but I don't see the stars. No celestial there. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. I think usually if we come down in the trunk of the tree, then we've usually had experience of many different religions. But what we tend to think about is we want to find where home is and where we feel at home. And I think this is one of the reasons why I adopted the Brahma Kumari's way of life, because actually when I heard the story of the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Copper Age, and the Iron Age, I was still Catholic at that time. And I thought to myself, I understand. The Golden Age and Silver Age is the Garden of Eden. And the Copper Age and the Iron Age is the fall from grace. So it's sort of tied in together. It made sense to me. And I think, and of course, the other thing is that having the idea that Jesus is the Son of God. And I thought to myself, I have to think about that one. And then I realized that we are all children of God. We are all brothers and sisters, children of God. And actually, I remember in reading a lot of scriptures in the Bible, actually, Jesus referred to himself as the Son of Man. So again, it's something to think about. And the other thing is that what I like about what you're saying is you're showing your individual unique thoughts and ideas. And again, you're demonstrating in practice the tree. So I like that idea. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Vasantha?
Margaret, thank you very much for the lovely presentation. But I will let others ask the question, and my last question will be asking you to explain something about the Brahma Kumaris and the yoga meditation.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret. Yeah, you're right. The tree is a wonderful analogy, and so many things the tree does, which is selfless and gives to the world an analogy to teach us about humility. And I was also thinking about branches of a tree, and on the end of the branches there's leaves, and a leaf on one branch can't even see far enough to recognize that it's part of the same tree. It looks at another leaf and says, who are you? You're on a different branch. I've got nothing to do with it. And it even forgets how it needs the root of the tree to survive. So a leaf might think, hey, I'm really healthy. I'm pretty good, actually. I think I'll just drop off this tree and do my own thing. But they don't last long.
I like that idea.
Yeah. But I did have a question.
Yes.
And that was about, you said there are souls who are inspired to bring transformation, and interfaith is part of this. Is this all souls or special souls who have been given the mission?
Well, I think essentially any soul who feels inspired to do so can do so, and there are many interfaith groups gathering now, which is really good. And yes, I think often there's in our subconscious we understand this concept that things have got to change. We can't keep going as we're going. We can't keep fighting with each other. We can't keep ruining the planet. And in fact, I've often heard it said that if human beings were taken from the planet would survive. But if all the other creatures were taken, the planet would be destroyed. So I think that that we need to recognize that we have a place in nature, and that all creatures have a place in nature. And again, if our focus is on being cooperative, then, and also you mentioned humility. Humility is a big thing. And I think one of the things we talk about in Raja Yoga as being a negative quality is ego. So if I think that I'm the greatest in the world, then I'm on the wrong track. I need to have humility. I need to recognize that I'm part of a wonderful organism, which is a tree.
Thank you.
Before you answer for Santha's question, Margaret.
Yes.
I was curious when you went to England and you joined the Protestant group, and you mentioned that it was the first time that you were in the minority.
Yes.
You know, what was that experience like for you?
Well, it was a bit strange, but I think there must have been in me this desire to fit in with the other people around me, and they were very, very pleasant. I mean, I have some lovely memories of times with my colleagues, and in fact, some of them I'm still in contact with now. And also there was that, I think that's where I first learned about becoming a missionary, because there would be missionaries that would come back from, again, mainly Africa because of being in Europe. And they would tell stories. They would come back and share their experiences on the missions in Africa. And I think that must have whetted my appetite in the same way that when I was, before I came to Australia, I used to read books by Neville Shute. And of course, I read A Town Like Alice, and I read Requiem for a Wren. And I remember we used to have a program on the BBC called Woman's Hour, and they would tell a story every day. And I remember there was a story called The Purple Jacaranda. So I think these thoughts were filtering through my mind and giving me the idea, oh, I should go and see what that looks like. So I did. And I'm still here. Because I liked, one of the things I used to say, I liked the way Catholicism was expressed in Australia, because it was very honest and open. And that's what the Australians are, very honest, very open, and very laid back. And now that I'm in the Brahma Kumaris, I find myself saying the same thing. So I'm celebrating the Australianness.
That's wonderful. From my point of view, I think a lot of that comes from the roots of this nation, of the First Nations people, the way they interacted with each other and their interaction with their creator, their dreaming stories and all these stories about, managing greed and having respect for the environment and reciprocation. There's the English never swam, but they learned how to swim from the Aboriginal people, and now we're known as a swimming nation.
Yes,
so there's a lot of things that have sort of come up from influencing those who live here, from just all the groundwork of the ceremonies and the attitude of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. But
yes, one of the things that I've really noticed about particularly the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders is that they live their faith. There is no difference. Life is faith, and they're living their spirituality all the time. And it's something that I've noticed actually in the American continent, North America, both in Canada and in the United States. Indigenous people are making their voices heard. And again, the concept that we don't own the land owns us. And I love that concept as well. Because again, it gives us humility. Yeah, it's a lovely concept.
Thank you. So I think if you could answer Vasantha's question now, it'd be appreciated, please.
In this group, we like to learn about what others believe in. So if you can explain something about Brahmakumaris and the yoga meditation, Raja Yoga, it will be good.
Okay, well, basically what Raja Yoga meditation is about is, the first concept is that I am not this body. The body is the vehicle through which I operate. And who I am is a soul, an eternal being who always is. The soul always is. Bodies come, bodies go. We take birth, the body dies, but the soul is eternal, and the soul always is. And I think one of the ways that we can think about, have I lived other births? Have I lived in other times and other areas? And I think if there's a place or a time that we feel an affinity towards, then that's probably a place and a time that we had a pleasant experience in. Or maybe there's a place and a time that we dislike. And actually what I dislike is the probably the early history of England, and I think of castles, and I think of them as being very cold and unfriendly. So maybe I had a bad experience of a castle somewhere. But I think we can find these experiences if we search, if we start thinking. But basically, Raja Yoga, the concept is I am a soul. I am a child of God, and God is our Father, and we have some lovely ways of describing God as being the ocean of love. God is love, and we hear this, we say it, but we don't often think, what does it mean? God is simply loving. We are His children, and it's like the way a parent will look at a toddler, and they'll see the toddler doing silly things. Like a toddler hasn't got the concept that if you twist the cup that has the drink that you're drinking, that drink is going to spill. And often they do it, and the parents have to rush and grab it before it falls on the floor. And our understanding of God is that He's like that. He sees us making silly mistakes, which we do all the time, but He's never a punishing God. And this is a real concept in Raja Yoga, that God is love. He does not punish. We punish ourselves. We recognize that we've done something wrong. And actually, we can be our own worst enemy. How many times do you find yourself saying, oh, you're stupid, you did that again? We talk to ourselves in that way because we've learned to do it. We probably learned to do it when we were children. But God doesn't think of us in that way. He thinks, yes, I can see that you made a mistake. And he says, just think about it and don't do it again. That's all. So I like that idea that God is love, purely and simply.
So when you meditate, do you meditate quite a lot each day?
Yes, we have our early morning meditation at 4 o'clock in the morning, because 4 o'clock in the morning is regarded as a time, because probably when Raja Yoga started, it started actually in the mid-30s in a place called Hyderabad, Sindh. And Sindh, actually, that's the Indus Valley. And it actually is in Pakistan now. So Raja Yoga started in Hyderabad, Sindh, and then it moved to Karachi, because at first there was a bit of lack of acceptance of it in Hyderabad. People thought the Brahma Kumaris wanted to change everything. And so then they moved to Karachi, and they were in Karachi for 14 years. And of course, from 1936 to 1951, that was a time of tremendous upheaval in the world, well, in India particularly, because first of all, you had independence, then you had partition, and then you had the Second World War. So there was a lot happening at the time. And the Brahma Kumaris decided that they would feel more comfortable if they were in India rather than in Pakistan. They felt that was, again, they had a thought that that's where they should be. And that's where they were. So that's an interesting thought.
And so when you meditate and meditate on that love, when you meditate,
sorry, I got away from.
are you thinking
yes.
you're meditating to sort of open yourself up to that love by breathing, or?
Yes, we start our meditation by turning the mind within. And the best way to turn the mind within is to focus on the breathing and allow the breathing to become deeper and slower. And then what we do is we start relaxing the body. Start by the toes. Let the toes relax. Let the feet, the ankles, the lower legs, the knees, the thighs, the hips, and go all the way up. And when we start relaxing the chest, we always remind ourselves that breathing is natural and automatic, because sometimes people get concerned when they are asked to relax their chest. They think, what will happen? How will my breathing happen? It's natural, it's normal, it will continue. So that's how we start. And then what we can do is we can take our awareness to the soul world, the place of peace and silence, and just experience that. And once we start thinking of things, that leads us to an experience of peace. And what we can do is remind ourselves, I am a being of peace. I am a spiritual being, spreading the vibration of peace, filling the room with the vibration of peace, and letting it spread outwards. And that's a lovely meditation to do. When we first start meditating, we actually use meditation commentaries, which help to guide our thoughts in the way that we want to experience. And in fact, I've been looking at YouTube, and there's so many sites of the Brahma Kumaris on YouTube. There are meditation commentaries that people can listen to, which is really good. We're very fortunate these days that we've got so much technology. And I often think that COVID was a shattering experience for the world, but it wasn't all negative. There were positive aspects to it. And one of the positive aspects was Zoom really took off during COVID, because it had to, because people couldn't go to church anymore. So they started meeting online and things like that. So yeah, And again, in Raja Yoga, they always say that whatever happens in the drama of life, there is benefit in it. So we always have that positive attitude to things. And sometimes we can think, why did that happen? That was dreadful. And then we suddenly realize that it actually avoided a greater harm. You know, we can think of situations in our lives like someone missed a plane. What could be a greater disaster than missing a plane that you spent all that money on and then the plane crashed? Well, you wouldn't think that that was a bad thing. So there are ways we actually do have the choice to think in a positive way, but our tendency is to think negatively because we've got used to doing it.
Thank you.
So anyway, we meditate first thing in the morning. We have a spiritual class we meditate before the spiritual class. Then we have a spiritual class where we reflect on concepts that we learn in this spiritual reading, and that's usually between 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning. And then we have a lovely practice, and it's called traffic control. And on the hour, we have music that plays, and it's just gentle music. It's not a particular song or anything like that, but it reminds us that it's time to stop and think, I am a soul and God is my Father, and send love to our Father. And that's a lovely concept that we do. Then in the evening at 7:00, again, we have an evening meditation where we gather together and meditate. And of course, meditation is so much stronger when we're doing it as a group. Meditation is great when we do it ourselves individually, but the power of the gatherings is such a great thing that's what we experience when we meditate.
Thank you. Well, Ahmed's been patiently waiting there with his hand up. So
Yeah,
I've been asking your questions about the meditation.
One of my concepts being Irish is that I could talk under wet cement. Anyhow, sorry.
No, it's you're being wonderful. I wanted to know more about the meditation techniques and following on from Sansa's question, but I'm just acknowledging that Ahmed's been patient, that I've been butting in.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say two things. First, that you have taken one step forward by accepting other faiths and even transforming yourself, which is very lovely. Not many people can do that. But I want to go back to the reincarnation concept.
Yes.
I've always had conflict with this reincarnation concept because to me, the soul coming repetitively to this world is not logical because the numbers of the people are increasing. And where are those souls that come into those bodies? And the other thing is I'm more aligned with accepting that the worlds of God are multiple and the soul traverses through these different worlds. And one of those worlds is the womb of the mother. Another is this physical world. And then it goes to another spiritual dimension and many other dimensions by going through these, traversing these worlds of God. And so I think that the concept of reincarnation is misunderstood. And the concept of reincarnation closes the hand of God in ability to produce these multi worlds for the soul to traverse. So my view is that God has created the soul for every individual, and this soul goes through these different worlds to experience them, to gain spiritual qualities, and for every stage, it goes through transformation. Like, for example, Abdul Baha, the son of the founder of the Baha'i faith, says that when the baby is in the womb of the mother, that baby raises arms, legs, eyes, but the baby doesn't use those things in the womb of the mother. But that baby is making those things for another world, and that's the physical world when the baby comes out of the womb to this world. And then the baby starts using these limbs and eyes and ears to traverse in this physical world. And then he says that the same pattern or same metaphor can be used for us with our spiritual qualities, human spiritual qualities, as those limbs and legs and arms and eyes that we need to traverse into the next world. So I'm more aligned with this pattern that there are many worlds of God. Human souls traverse through these to reach ultimately towards God and be close to God. So I don't know, what do you think of that concept, rather than reincarnation, coming back and going back to this physical world?
I actually don't have a problem. It sits quite comfortably with me, the concept of reincarnation that the Brahma Kumaris talk about. But again, one of the things I can come back to is the tree, because what you're actually doing is you're demonstrating beautifully that you've got different ideas.
Yeah,
You're still on the tree. So that is fine. I'm happy with the concept that I have of reincarnation, but I can see your point of view. And that again is the beauty of the tree, that you're demonstrating in practice that each of us is unique, and we can have differing opinions. But I can accept your opinion as your opinion, and that's fine. And thank you very much for sharing it. But yeah.
What do you think of this concept that population is increasing, and how those different extra souls come from to go into these physical bodies?
Well, there are an infinite number of souls that are coming down, and
Are they in the limbo?
What's that?
But are they in the limbo when the population of Earth was something like 1 million at the beginning? Where are those? Where those souls that are 8 billions now?
Well, we are coming to the end of the cycle, and a new cycle will start. And the souls that are on Earth now will go back to the soul world. This is our understanding. But as I say, you see it slightly differently, and that is absolutely fine.
Yeah, well, definitely.
I think we are here to learn from Margaret.
Sorry?
We are actually here to learn from Margaret. So what they believe, and as Brahma Kumaris believe. So I think we accept what Margaret is saying and continue to investigate.
Well, actually,
but again, if you want to have a look at what Raja Yoga philosophy is, come and do the course. And one thing I will mention is that one thing that we do at 5 Dock on the 3rd Sunday of every month, we have what we call World Meditation Hour, and anyone can come to that. And we usually have a speaker who speaks for a half an hour, and then we all meditate together, focusing on sending blessings and good wishes to the world. And that's something that's open to anyone. It starts at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, the 3rd Sunday of every month, and 10 to 11:30. If you would like to come along and experience that, you would be very, very welcome. Just a thought. Just a thought.
Thank you. When do you think the age is going to finish? You talk about the age. Is there any timeline, or
our
we're coming
idea
towards it?
is that when we become there's an expression in Raja Yoga, when we have settled all our karma with ourselves, our relatives, and with the world, then it will happen. But we have no idea any more than you do when exactly it will be. But we're feeling from the fact that everything has got so intense in the world nowadays. And again, it's interesting that people come along. We'll have leaders in countries that seem to be just right for this situation. And at the moment, of course, we've got a lot of conflict in the world, and there are a lot of people who are very uncertain as to what is happening in America at the moment, where that is going to go. And so we really don't know. We just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, I can't give a more definite answer than that.
Thank you. Jung.
Thank you. Just I've got a similar concept about the physical bodies. But first of all, I want to let you know that we don't need, the soul will not need to travel here and there to Himalaya mountains to look for God, because in real life, God manifestation, God come to the people, God descended to the people, like Virgin Mary apparition to the 3 poor little farmers peasants, and they could not read or write, but Virgin Mary apparition come to them, so you don't really have to travel miles and miles to see God. The idea about physical bodies, what I say, if you say that we are souls and we have God, you make our life so much easy. But in real life, we carry a body. One body can carry 10 people. I mean, talking about labor in a house or labor in a farm, helping the communities, things like that. So people do have job on earth. That's why we have the earth for. And then what you say, it's a job of midwives. You know how hard it is to deliver a baby? And nowadays, percentage of stillborn babies raised up high. There are more stillborn babies nowadays, mean they die in the womb before they come out. So why God give people suffering? If we say that we are souls and we don't need bodies, so why people have to go through the suffering of losing a baby from the womb and come out of the womb and die in the war and everything? So that was my thought was about. It means that we actually didn't have a total concept of life, what it's all about, or what job people should do, or what they can be useful for the family, for the community, for the nation. If only the souls who know one soul carry 20 people, but one leader in the army, like a captain, he can follow a troop, he can direct the troop to win a battle. So he's more useful than to be souls and floating from one tree to the other tree, to look into search for endless, manifestation of God. When God is there, right in their heart. And they didn't know where God is. God is in the heart.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, Colin, I think you'll be the last person, and then we'll ask Margaret for any final words, because we're coming up towards 8:30.
Yeah, I was going to ask what Tracy asked about the timing of the Golden Age, but now I've adapted my question. What's the Golden Age going to be like? Probably we can't, it's hard to imagine, but from the outline you were giving, have there been golden ages in the past that give us an idea of what it was like?
Yes. And I think, again, if we think about the Garden of Eden, because I think that that in Christian terms there is that concept of a place. We understand that the that the Golden Age will be a time of peace, prosperity, and happiness, and that everyone they will have learned at this time. We regard this time, we call this time the Confluence Age, because it's the time of the end of the Iron Age. So we have the gold and the silver, the copper and the Iron Age. And the confluence is the time when we are learning to behave in a way that will bring about a world of happiness, peace, and prosperity, where we won't feel that we're needy. We won't need to form relationships. They will be there naturally. We will know that everything that we need in life, and the three main things that we're looking for in life, love, peace, and happiness, we will have that in abundance there. And our aim will be to give. And so we will just be giving. We'll be sharing a life of loving, cooperative, happy relationships. That's what our understanding of the Golden Age is.
Thank you.
It's all about that. It's not that I need and that I get, but that I have and that I share. That's what it's about.
Exactly. This is the age of service.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, thank you for, participating in the discussion and sharing your talk and your heart and faith. And I don't know about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, but I like the idea of, starting off with that relaxation and really take in that I am loved, and therefore I can take that love out into the day. And
yes. I'll just tell a quick story, and that is when one of the senior sisters of the Brahma Kumaris came to Australia. There were a lot of people in the Brahma Kumaris who were performance actors, and they would finish a show at maybe 10 o'clock at night, and then they'd have to get home and get to bed. And they asked her, how can we get up for Amrit Vela? How can we get up for a 4 o'clock meditation? And she said to them, when you go home, have 6 hours sleep. When you wake up, have your meditation then. So it's always a good idea when I first wake up just to connect with God and say, actually, I live in an independent living retirement place. And my husband was talking to one of the other people, and she said, every morning when I wake up, I say, thank you. Thank you that I woke up again. So that's a lovely thing to do. That's how we can start our day, by saying thank you for being there.
I think that's an excellent way to finish today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to talk. It's been a pleasure.